Fortunately, the bus avoided both in time. Episode 4, that is, one of the talismans fried on the wall may belong to Mrs. Park's husband. And the envoy father came here because he heard that Shin Yi Rang once said that he touched the incense stick, so this happened. The two decided to find the teacher who had been here to settle the matter. On the other side, Na Hyun looked at him awkwardly bandaging the wound. She wanted to help. However, the two of them still didn't have any close connection at all. Looking at baby Soo, standing in a corner with regret, Shin Yi Rang also did not blame her for being possessed. And the heroine also said that Glory Company is her client. He knew that he didn't reveal it, but said that he was there to meet an idol. Therefore, Na Hyun pondered silently, not knowing whether the lawyer was telling the truth or joking. She entered the entertainment company and noticed the security cameras in the hallway. At this time, Soo said that the phone ringing she heard when she fell was that of musician Jong Seok. Na Hyun met with the security guard to ask about it, but he said that he also wanted to report to the police because he was scratched. When a male protagonist got off the car, he took the dashcam's memory card, and Soo was sitting in the car and asked him about Na Hyun. The little girl teased the two beauties of the couple, but Shin Yi Rang was annoyed. Seeing that she missed her words, this soul comforted her. Then when they entered the house, everyone was worried when they saw that his hand was injured. The mother heard the news from her son-in-law and immediately let go. When she was reassured, she asked her son-in-law to watch over her son. Suddenly, the sister heard about some ghost story, so she asked about what made the mother and daughter confused, holding the wrong things and avoiding the village. At that time, Shin Yi Rang went to the room to see the data on the memory card, and Na Hyun saw the scene where he was entered in gory. Shin Yi Rang also saw the scene of Na Hyun chasing Jong Seok. There was also a scene where I was entered and chased by the other two. My brother-in-law was about to react, but when his sister-in-law pointed out that the girl was also here, he interrupted. Na Hyun called Prosecutor Kim to ask when he arrested Zi Choi. Lawyer Shin Yi Rang was also there. When asked about the reason for knowing that place, he said that the source was strange, not clear. That made the heroine not understand why he reacted so strongly. On the other side, the male lead also discovered that Jong Seok is a musician who is constantly involved in copyright infringement. He was quickly entering Sua's account on the website to locate her phone. Then they clearly saw that it was lying in Jong Seok's house. Because there was no clear evidence, the whole group had to plot more. Meanwhile, Lawyer Jong visited the big man, Mike Twee, in prison to warn him. He threw out a script that he had to memorize in order to keep his seat. Because of his memory, the prisoner blamed all the blame on the lawyer on the other side. He also mentioned that it was because of Lee Gangpung that he became this farmer. Lawyer Jong heard Lee Gangpung's name and also remembered that he had died in the case of the old doctor and his wife, in which Esom Jong participated. So Jong Nak sent the investigator to the male lead's office immediately. The envoy went to Uncle Kim to ask about the French teacher who had rented Esom Jong as an office. And the male lead asked Soo to come in to see if Jong Seok was at home. Seeing that, the brother-in-law asked for all kinds of things while the little girl was already gone. The two brothers stood outside and kept sneering. Bong Soo also gave his brother-in-law an electric pliers. Although the lawyer knew that this dish was illegal, Esom Jong still took it. He quickly sneaked into Jong Seok's house and found him playing the piano. I saw Soo standing there in awe again. It turns out that Jong Seok is playing and singing a song composed by herself. Soo wrote it in the process of working part-time as a happiness. And it seems that Jong Seok has taken action to steal the music. He also held Soo's phone, making her not understand why he knew that he was writing music. Suddenly, he was confused and called someone to ask Soo if he had any more songs. Hearing this, Soo immediately knew that it was Emma. Emma was the one who knew almost all of her music. Next was Abel, who was playing with Emma. Soo was often rebellious with Abel, so she must have hated her. And so he told the musician that Soo wrote music. When he was about to leave, Na Hyun came to ask about Esom Jong. Jong Seok replied that he was an eccentric pervert and said that he was not impressed or remembered. He showed that he was being bothered and left to chase Na Hyun away. Esom Jong just called him easily to follow Jong Seok, but he was caught by Na Hyun. All the way he had to tell her the truth was that the heroine didn't believe it and thought that he had a rich imagination. The male protagonist is in a hurry, knowing that Emma is in danger, and asks Na Hyun to find Abel and tell him not to get involved with women lest he infect him. So the fragile bond between the two began to be established. Na Hyun even lent him his own car to run quickly. That night, Esom Jong found Emma before the musician, but she was afraid that he would follow her, so she demanded to call the police. When he said that Jong Seok was the one who sent Soo off to steal the song, Emma couldn't believe it. The male protagonist also doesn't know how to explain this thoroughly. Seeing the musician coming, he handed Emma the electric pliers. When Esom Jong approached the target, he was suddenly attacked by Emma herself. It turned out that she was on the same side as him and wanted to save him when she heard that he knew that he was with Soo-ae at that time. When Jong-suk pulled out the victim's phone, suddenly the male lead was able to snatch it back. It turned out that he had predicted it, so he removed the battery to inject electricity in advance. Previously, he also asked Na Hyun to find the idol contest scorecard, seeing Soo-ae in 2nd place while Emma in 8th place and Abel in 12th place, which stipulates that only the top 7 can be debuted, and Abel is completely unable to compete. Named Jong-suk runs away, but is blocked by his brother-in-law. It turned out that the lawyer had calculated carefully and asked the monk to pretend to be a father to arrest him. Because he watches a lot of movies, he knows the dialogue and acting, although it is a bit stylish, but extremely immersive. Shin Yi Rang followed Emma to the end, but she kept screaming as if she was innocent. Soo wanted to ask why her friends did that, but the other party laughed and said that she had never considered her a friend. It turns out that Emma is a rich lady who is always in the spotlight until Soo appears. Seeing her friend wearing clothes that she didn't even bother to take for a long time made Emma uncomfortable. She's always wide open, especially when Soo-ae is better than herself. Emma pretends to be a friend to get access to secret songwriting and secretly collect your works. Then I told Jong-suk that the music was written by me. She also threatened the other 2 members to her side to force the director to let Soo-ae leave the group. That day, Emma went to the rooftop to see her friend crying, but she was stupid when she saw that the other person was still smiling positively. So she pushed Soo-ae to steal the phone. At that time, Jong-suk saw and wanted to file a complaint, but Emma threatened the opposite. She relied on her wealthy family to manipulate the musician. Realizing that the person in front of her was crazy, it was too late. And then Jong-suk also took the phone to steal Soo-ae's music and release it. Because he was so grieving, the girl's soul entered the male protagonist Emma and pushed him to the ground, wanting to attack him with stones. Fortunately, at that time, Na Hyun appeared and grabbed her to debunk the whole truth. After that, Shin Yi Rang told Soo-ae that Abel was actually a friend who was always a lady. When he was about to call the little soul's mother, the little girl was a little hesitant. So the male protagonist suggested that she look at her mother from a distance to avoid confusion. It's just that Soo-ae's mother is now only a month away from being completely blind. When the doctor asked, she admitted that she had not met the person she wanted to meet the most. Seeing her mother like that, Soo-ae cried and burst into tears. It turned out that she had sepsis 18 years ago because in order to protect Soo-ae and wanted her child to have a better caretaker, she sent her to her grandmother. She called her daughter because she wanted to see her face one last time before the darkness engulfed. She asked Shin Yi Rang to make one last wish. It turned out that when Soo-ae was alive, she registered for organ donation. Her people were saved and her garbage is still in storage. So she wanted to ask him to give his eyes to his mother to pay tribute. Later, her mother regained her sight and recognized her mother. As soon as she saw her grandmother, she cried out of pity for her little daughter. The 2 uncles and grandchildren stood outside the door to witness this scene and felt very happy. Thanks to Shin Yi Rang, Soo-ae can now pass away peacefully. She even went in silently hugging her mother and grandmother for the last time. That night, Father Soo and Mrs. Baek still could not find the whereabouts of the old French teacher. The male lead found Na Hyun to thank her for helping, because he promised to reveal who the person he was working with after the case was over. Shin Yi Rang confessed that he could see the ghost to Na Hyun in a confused way. Hearing that, she was discouraged and didn't want to listen to it anymore because she never believed in spiritual things. She also got angry and left, making him feel confused because she was the one who forced him to speak. There were a lot of fans who came to memorialize Lona, making her feel happy to be cherished. Her song is played with commemorative images that help the little soul feel much lighter. Father Soo and his brother-in-law waved goodbye to Soo, but the direction of their gaze in the sky had to be adjusted by the male protagonist, as always. Then they also burned the charm to summon the spirit so that the little girl would disappear. Na Hyun was visiting the deceased when she received a song composed by Soo-ae from Shin Yi Rang. That melody reminded her of her beautiful past with So-hyun. When she returned home, she took her notebook and put it in her pocket. Returning to the Num law firm, she met Lawyer Jong again. The heroine said she had a gift for him. If he wins, it is a gift for him to give to the chairman, and if he loses, he has a reason to fire her. This case involves a woman who was found not guilty even though she saw her husband off. And unexpectedly, the husband's soul appeared in Shin Yi Rang's office again. It's just that this time he was no longer afraid and smiled to welcome his next guest.